Hello, visionary entrepreneurs, life changers. Welcome back to our abundance reading. Today is our day 119, let's say 169. Whoa, let's get back to our Zoom as well and also our YouTube channel. Just one moment, okay? Let me get our video into our YouTube channel, live replay. I need to put it into our right playlist to start it so that we could start the live streaming at the same time. Yay, welcome everyone. By the way, today is also Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Today is Sunday, perfect day, right? And we just celebrated with a big family, so many fathers, and also plus a new baby, just 100 days. And it's a great ceremony. And it's wonderful to celebrate such a time, right? And with like a father and also grandpa, and with a new baby, and with the mothers, and with the grandma, with all this like relatives and the friends. It's really like it's great to look at the community, just a circle, right? Keep expanding, and always wonderful to look at the new life. And I hope you already enjoyed your Father's Day, no matter like where you are and what kind of position you are. Always, tonight I prayed like my kids, and they are not satisfied with their father, right? Because he's not really there too much for them. But I pray that everyone, there's no perfect one, okay? And the most important thing is like we appreciate each other and focus more on the positive side, and and pray for each other that we will all grow in this journey together, and everyone will be certain stage of our life we have more like great wisdom. So it's just like, to me, pray and be grateful and enjoy the present time. And now let's get back to reading, okay? I hope everybody enjoyed your Happy Father's Day. All right, today we're continuing our book with Russell Brunson, The Traffic Secrets. This is your underground playbook to fill your websites and funnels with your dream customers. And today we are on the secret number 7. I believe it's about the infiltrating the dream 100. How to really build your dream 100 and really build up your platform. And today is about starting your show, finding your voice, starting your show. It's on page 112. By the way, later you will find on this video, we will share the link how you can get a free copy. And it's never too late to get this free copy, and you can hold it and you can read it and take notes. And this, you can refer to it many times. This is not like a novel book and you read it, put it down, and you can forget it about, just have some entertainment. But this is really strategic and a practical book that you want to hold it every day and refer back to it and really implement in your practice, right? So on March 26, 2013, I launched my first episode of my Marketing in Your Car podcast, which later became the Marketing Secrets Show. It seemed as good a day as any to launch it, outside of the fact that in the prior few months, I had almost bankrupted my company, fired about 100 employees, found out that I owed over $250,000 to the IRS, which if I didn't pay soon, would mean even more fines and a possible jail time, and had almost no money left in the bank account, with tons of credit card debt piling up. Looking back now, it seems like the worst possible time to have launched a podcast teaching people my secrets of marketing. Yet that's exactly what I did. That's a great sharing, right? It's just like Russell almost faced the bankruptcy. That's the worst time. That's like almost like a failure time, right? But he launched his secrets of marketing. It's just like teach you almost like a marketing success. So sometimes when we are facing quite some challenges, we're also like we're doubting, are we teaching the right thing, right? If you are really like passionate about something, that's if you are like committed to something, and if you keep learning, keep sharing, keep teaching, and you will become more and more where you dreamed and vision about. I knew that if was going to do my own show. I have today's 169. Also on our Momentum Monday, this coming week, this Monday will be our 120 and 125 episode weekly. So be consistent. Let's see, out of all the types of shows that I could publish, like audio, video, or text, I knew that it had to be simple or I did never stick to it. When I considered how to work it into my everyday routine, I realized that every day I had a 10-minute commute to my office. I figured that I could record each episode on my phone as I drove to work. Not a safe place. That's why eventually changed. I hope you guys will not do that. Okay, where you are driving, you're doing this work, and that's a little dangerous. Okay, to everybody. So in the episodes, I would share my thoughts about what I was doing to market my business and the lessons I was learning each day. That's how it got its original name, Marketing in Your Car. So definitely that's not a safe teaching. That's why, thank God, it changed to be a marketing secrets. The first episodes were not good. In fact, years later, my friend Steve J. Narson told me the first 45 or 46 episodes weren't very good. But then around that time is where it seemed like you found your voice. And they started getting better and better after that. That seemed very interesting. The first 45 or 46 episodes. Now I'm on my 124, 25 episodes. That's awesome. That's great. Thanks for sharing. I did get more feedback. Still, like, I hope to get more. Good news for me and for you is during your first episodes, the ones where you are the worst, no one is listening to you yet. If I hadn't done the first 45 episodes, I never would have gotten to episode 46, where I started to hit my stride. I'm wondering which episode would be my turn to, to hit my stride. That's why it's so essential to start publishing your show now, okay? Even when you are not good at it. That's right. If you want to be good at it, you need to start. In the process of doing your show, you will find your voice. I'm so grateful that I actually had no idea how to check the download stats to see if anyone was listening to me when I first got started, because I'm sure that I would have been discouraged and stopped. Don't look at your stats, downloads, or numbers at first. That's true, right? Sometimes the numbers will discourage you because you are just trying to build the foundation for something great, and it will take time. So trying to build the foundation for something great, and it will take time. And now sometimes I'm just thinking like what I'm doing here now is like building the foundation. And in other words, people may say like plant your seeds, plant your seeds. About 3 years into my podcast, I learned how to check the download stats. After 3 years, about 3 years. Thank God I'm not using podcasts. I always wondering is how those people know their stats because so many under the podcast cannot say that. And discovered that I had tens of thousands of people listening to every episode. It's already good news. I also found out that the majority of the people who had joined my highest level mastermind groups and coaching programs had all been podcast listeners first. Actually, I'm not in that majority. I'm not from his I'm in his mastermind group, high level, but I was not listening to his podcast. I think it's more from his videos. When I asked my coaching members about it, the pattern of how most of them came into our high-end programs was shockingly similar. So many told me that they would listen to a few episodes, and then for some reason, an episode would connect with them. It made them want more. So they would go back to episode 1 and binge listen to every episode over a week or 2 periods of time. During the episodes, I documented my journey as I was building back up my company. I did share stories of the people that I had a chance to work with, usually before these listeners had finished binging. They had applied to work with me. Okay. Stories of people that I had to work with, share stories of people's stories. Without sending ads in my podcast, promoting my own or other people's products, both things that you can and probably should do to make money from your show. I was just telling stories of my own and from my clients. Just telling stories of my own and from my clients. Yet that podcast has converted more casual followers into raving fans than anything else. I have 3 years of consistent publishing. How many of you, before you see any results, would like to do the 3 years of consistent publishing? So let me say now I'm at my 125 episode for Momentum Monday, and let's say 52, that will be like 104, right? So we are 2 years. We're more than 2 years. If it's 3 years, that's 150. Let's say 156. Yeah, 156. When I get to 156, that will be our 3 years mark for our show, for our Momentum Monday show. So I still have a journey to go. Okay, so it's great to know that once you spend 3 years of consistent publishing. Let me walk you through the steps that will make your own show a success. Step 1, publish daily for at least a year. That's what we are doing now. I did not plan for that. I just want to read and I want to share. I want to share inspiration in my practice. So I started to do my 365 days abundance reading. So today here is our 169 episode. How wonderful is that, right? So he said, publish daily for at least a year. The first, at least a year. So this year, at least, okay. The first commitment that you have to make is that you will be consistent. I know when I started that if I didn't find a platform that was easy for me and easy to create the content, I wouldn't be consistent. What platform makes the most sense for you? How and when are you going to publish? Do you wake up each morning and write a 1,000-word blog post before lunch? Do you do a Facebook Live where you go to bed each night sharing the day's lessons? What works for you that will help you to be consistent? So he's talking about either a blog post or a Facebook Live. To me now, initially I was using this year, like the first part of 4 months almost, I was using Instagram every day, going live on Instagram. And then I moved from Zoom live streaming to YouTube. And then I go to Instagram to do just under 5 minutes, kind of a highlight and brief. This way, because on Instagram, people have no attention span, very short, right? Like Brunson said, only 7 seconds. But mine is a few minutes to highlight and to summarize what we did today. But here on the YouTube, I could read longer. Sometimes occasionally we read, ideally, right, around 30 minutes, but occasionally we read over 1 hour. So that's how great the content was and the practice. So what works for you that will help you to be consistent? If you can publish every day for a year, you will never have to worry about money problems again. Oh, I love that kind of a statement. If you can publish every day for a year, you will never have to worry about money problems again. Okay, during the process, you will find your voice and your audience will have time to find you. That's true. You find your voice and your audience will have time to find you. A whole year, every day, 365 days reminders, right? And your audience will find you. Okay. And if it's needed, I'm willing to take more than 1 year and whatever how long it may take. One of my favorite my friends, Nathan Barry, wrote this post recently, enduring long enough to get noticed. Okay, so Nathan Barry. How many great TV shows have you? Okay, here now, following 1, 2, 3, the 3 brief paragraphs. It's quote from the Enduring Long Enough to Get Noticed book. Okay, that's not a real book. It's a post. Okay, how many great TV shows have you discovered in season 3 or later? And 7, I guess. I started watching Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones after they had released 5 seasons. Pat Plain had released at least 100 episodes of his podcast before I even knew he existed. I discovered hardcore history years after Dan Carney started producing it. This is such a common experience. There is so much content being produced that we can't possibly discover it all. So instead, we wait for the best content to float to the surface after time. If step one in building an audience is to create great content, okay, building your audience. Okay, the step one in building an audience is to create great content. Step two is to endure long enough to get noticed. Okay, first, you create great content. That's what we were teaching, right? Content Freedom Challenge and Content Creator. I help you to create great content and then to endure long enough to get noticed. I'm now in the second stage, enduring long enough to get noticed. I did get quite some notice, but still lacks the scale or lacks the impact I am planning or I'm wishing. So I certainly need some more. Seth Godin is very generous with his time and will appear on almost any relevant podcast, but you have to have recorded at least 100 episodes first. His filter is creators who have shown they are willing to show up consistently for a long time. Okay, filter is creators showing willing to show up consistently for a long time. I have to have recorded at least 100 episodes first. By the way, how many I have? Yeah, I have over 100, in both my reading movement and also my momentum month. I have over 100 episodes. Let's see. Generous time and will appear on almost any relevant podcast. So see, generous with your time and appear on almost any relevant podcast. Okay. All right. For those of you who have been around me for any amount of time, you know that this is the soapbox that I'm very firm on. You must be publishing or you will never become relevant. And you must continue publishing if you want to remain relevant. This part of the traffic this part of the traffic flywheel does not go away. Okay, Steve J. Larson knew when he bought his first tickets to Funnel Hacking Live that I was probably going to tell everyone this earth, there's eternal truth. But as he packed his bags, he told his wife, I will do everything that Russell says at this event, except publishing my own show. I won't do that. It's not really comfortable, right, to publish his own show. Before launch on day one, I told everyone that the number one thing they could do from now until next year's event would be to pick a channel and publish daily on it. So I remember I did this 2018. That's very basic, daily publishing, abundance today. Every day is inspiration and an image and a post. So and now 2023. Now I'm on this kind of since 2022. I started my Momentum Monday show, and this year 2023 abundance reading show. Okay, so I now have actually three. Let me see how many shows. Two shows, major two shows. And then I did something I hadn't before. I made everyone in the audience commit to me that they would start publishing that day. Okay, ask them to publish the same day, on day one. Most of the people in the room raised their hands and were excited to take the challenge, but very few took what I said at face value. But when one person, Steve J. Larson, made the commitment, the one that he went in knowing he wasn't willing to make, he decided to go all in. Okay, let me see. I know Steve Larson made a commitment, the one that he went in knowing he wasn't willing to make. He decided to go all in. He decided to start a podcast and other event. He started creating his first episodes. Okay, so to start a podcast. Yeah, I know this story. Steve Larson is like Russell Brunson's student and best partner. And then later he took Russell's challenge and started a podcast. Okay, and that even started creating his first episode. About a week later, he applied for a job at ClickFunnels and became my new head funnel builder. He sat next to me every day for the next 2 years. As I was working on my projects, he watched me share all the lessons I was learning about the web. Okay, he watched me share or publish all the lessons I was learning along the way. That's true, like publish. Okay, whatever you learn, publish. Now I'm just like simply, people say, oh, you're simply reading, you're reading. I'm reading and publish. This is like a next level of practice. Okay. I was podcasting, posting on Facebook, doing Periscope show. Okay, that's the only thing I'm not familiar with. Periscope shows and more. He told me that he was shocked at how much I published, and so he modeled what I was doing. This is great. I need to model Russell because he's like a unstoppable machine. He's really unstoppable. Oh, by the way, I have some milk to drink during nighttime. Organic milk. It can be very helpful for you to have a peace and good health as well. So Steve Larson modeled Russell. Okay, for the next 2 years that he worked at the ClickFunnels, he kept publishing his shoe. After a few months, it started getting some traction. It keeps growing over the years. And when he decided to make the jump from being an employee to become his own entrepreneur, he had a large following of people who were consuming everything he was publishing. That's smart things he did, actually, where he was working in ClickFunnels. And he took that movement, right? He took advantage of that movement and that kind of like a tide and grow and really rise above with that tide together. Because the ClickFunnels created quite kind of a movement and these right buzz in the market. And also Steve Larson became famous in that kind of community, and he attracted a lot of people into his list and into his platform as well. That show and his following became the launch pad he needed to launch his career. He had the fans and the following. So he simply, the fans and the following, simply introduced them to the new offers he had created and become an overnight success. Yeah, see, he has a platform, he has his list, and then he just introduced a new offer outside of his employee. Okay, step 2. Yeah, by the way, Russell is quite genuine for them to like on his platform and really create that success for themselves as well. Step 2, document the journey. Okay, so publish every day, at least for a year, and then document the journey. Let me see. We will have a step 3. Yeah, testing of material, and step 4 is introducing to your Dream 100. Okay, so step 2, document the journey. The biggest question and the largest fear that most people have when I tell them to start their own show is they have no idea what they will talk about. I had that kind of a concern as well before. Let's see, even last year when I was thinking about, I need go live every day on Instagram, but I don't know what to say every day, right? I do not want to share too much about my private life. I'm not kind of like a person who wants to share everything of my life. Some people share like what they eat or where they go and whatever else kind of weirdo things. I just want to keep some like my own personal life and also more on my passion. On my passion business is fine. One of the most powerful things I learned from Gary Vaynerchuk is the concept called document, don't create. For the beginning, at least for the beginning. Okay, document, don't create. I'm actually like, for example, reading the book, pick the easiest way. I'm like either you write the document, right? Or I just read the book, share my inspirations, share my learning, and at the same time, my practice. So it's perfect teaching starting point. I'm sharing an article from his blog, going deeper into this concept. Okay, following things is what he put from this book. If you want people to start listening to you, you have to show up. That's right. If you want people to listen to you, you have to show up. People want to look up to people like pioneers, say creators, leaders. What I mean by this is there are a lot of you out there who aren't producing enough articles or videos or pieces of content that should be produced to build your influence. That's true. We're not producing enough. And if you want to build influence in publishing more, okay? So too many content creators think that they only have one at bat. They have to make that one most beautifully created video or image or rant on Facebook. Okay, on Facebook. But what they don't realize is that their hunger to make the perfect piece of content is what's actually crippling them. How many of you have that kind of impulse? Perfect content, right? Perfect. Okay, it's true that if you want to be seen or heard on social media, you have to put out valuable content, okay, valuable content on a regular basis. You should be doing a YouTube vlog or podcast or some sort of long form audio video series at least once a week. This is a great idea. Let me see. YouTube vlog or podcast or some sort of long form audio or video series at least once a week. You should be posting on Instagram and or Snapchat stories at least 6 to 7 times a day. Posting on Instagram or Snapchat stories at least 6 to 7 times a day. Wow. That means that almost 1 or 2 hours, almost like every 1 or 2 hours you need to publish on Instagram. So far, how many I have? I normally have only 1 or up to 2 times on Instagram. So I'm too humble. I'm too humble. I've already been teaching, creating great content. I've been sharing content consistently every week, every day, every week. But for Instagram, I'm not so frequent. For Instagram or Snapchat, I'm not using Snapchat, but Instagram. So I need to remind myself, let's say 7 times. 7 is easier number for me to remember. It's a good number. So 7 times, every 1 to 2 hours. Okay, now you are probably thinking, wow, that's a lot. How do I create 6 to 7 meaningful things a day? I'll give you the biggest tip when it comes to content creation. Document and create. Okay. And I'll give, okay, in very simple terms, documenting versus creating is what the real world and the Kardashians is to Star Wars and Friends. And don't get confused. Just because you are documenting doesn't mean you're not creating more content. It's just a version of creating that is predicted more on practicity instead of having to think of stories or fantasy. Something that's very hard for most people, including myself. Let me see how many here. Let's read. Okay, this person's quote. Okay, think about it. If you can ponder about the strategy behind every post and fabricate yourself into this influential person, or you can just be yourself. Creating this influential persona might seem especially hard if you are just someone starting to climb the ladder. And I get it. For some of you, there is a lot of pressure in that. You think that some 30 or 40 or 50 years old is going to listen to your rant video with let's say cynicism, and think, what does this kind of work? Okay. Let me see. I know not right because I'm drinking milk. You know what? Milk will generate for you a little bit like drowsy. Okay. It's just like, oh, sometimes you want to sleep now. Creating this influential persona might seem especially hard if you're just someone starting to climb the ladder. And I get it. For some of you, there is a lot of pressure in that. You think that some 30 or 40 or 50-year-old is going to listen to your rant video with cynicism and think, what does this kid know? But some of the biggest mistakes people make when creating content for their personal brand is trying to oversell themselves because they think that's what's going to get people's attention. Whether you are a business coach or motivational speaker or artist, I think it's much more fruitful to talk about your process than about the actual advice you think you should be giving them. Okay. More fruitful to talk about your process. That's true. So many beginners, they want to know the process because they want to know where you started, how you struggle with, and they want to connect with you at that level. Otherwise, if you just tell them, you think you should be giving them, or you think they should do, and that's maybe beyond their level. Documenting your journey versus creating an image of yourself is the difference between saying you should versus my intention says. Get it? Okay. Documenting your journey versus creating an image of yourself. It's a difference between saying you should versus my intuition says. Get it? It changes everything. I believe that the people who are willing to discuss their journeys beside of trying to front themselves as the next big thing are worth to live, are going to win. Okay, let me see. Who are willing to discuss their journeys instead of trying to front themselves as the next big thing are going to win. Okay. So people who share a journey, okay. People who are willing to discuss their journey. That's why so many people like to share their documentary or their journey. Okay, so, I remember a movie. What's a movie? When who met Julia? When Julie met Julia, I forgot the specific name, but that's it's like the chef's son learning journey. Like you share the blog about, not really blog, but it's like a post, blogging, blog post about every day. She's challenged herself 100 days, every day is a different cuisine using Julia's chef book. So that's a very interesting one. Initially, for a few months, she did not attract anybody, but later she got more and more people's attention. So when I say to put out those 6 to 7 meaningful pieces of content a day, pick up your smartphone, open Facebook Live, and just start talking about the things most important to you. Because in the end, the creative or how beautiful someone thinks your content is going to be subjective. What's not subjective is the fact that you need to start putting yourself out there and keep swinging. Starting is the most important part and the biggest hurdle that most people are facing. They are pondering and strategizing instead of making. They are debating what's going to happen when they haven't even looked at what's in front of them. Okay, starting is the most important part and the biggest hurdle that most people are facing. Starting. That's why I emphasize it when I coaches, entrepreneurs, regional entrepreneurs, we start with your launch. It's launch, that's the greatest momentum. That's the most important part, the biggest hurdle that hold most people back. Okay. What's going to happen and I'm not even looking at what's in front of them. Okay. So strategizing instead of making. So do me a favor and start documenting. We need to understand what does that mean, documenting. Okay, I started it. Gary, now what? You ask. Keep doing it for another 5 years and then come back to me before you ask again. Keep doing it for another 5 years. That's why be consistent with doing things. Okay, so today I want to finish here. I do not want to exhaust myself. Today is Father's Day, and let's see how many pages. I believe tomorrow we can finish this secret number 7, infiltrating the dream 100. So today, what's our focus? I normally quickly do a brief, otherwise you will forget, right? That's reading. Reading you want to remember and practice what you learned. So starting your shoot means, let's see, steps. So step 1, publish daily for at least a year, that consistency, right? And step 2 is document the journey. And that's it. We will simply just move the not so much. But it's very important, right? Start your shoe. Either publish daily for at least a year, it's a public shoe. And another one is like document. So the length is going to be at least 1 year, and then document journey. Starting is the most important part, okay? Oh, okay. So document, that is like journey, process and journey. Remember those keywords. Okay, that's for today. We finished at 118, good page, right? So this part, super important foundation for us to, for our content, the content, how we should grasp this kind of structure, right? To share content to publish every day for you to accumulate your traffic. All right, so everyone, tomorrow we will read more, continue this and finish the secret number 7, infiltrating the Dream 100. And we will go to, by the way, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will get a full content, and we will go to like Instagram account soon, and make sure that you follow us. You will get the highlights, just a quick highlight every day that will help you keep you on the track and get the best inspirations from us. Okay, everyone. Again, happy Father's Day, everyone there, and especially for those fathers, and especially those ones who spend the time today with their kids and share some inspirations with them, okay, and list some time and also great inspiration, make it meaningful, all right? So we will see you tomorrow, and then we will keep reading this book. See you, take good care, bye-bye. And by the way, make sure that you grab the, take that link to grab your free copy, okay, of this great book, because you will use it again and again and again and again. Okay, you will just cover shipment fee, just a few bucks, will totally worth it. Okay, this is a great strategy book and also practice book. See you tomorrow. Okay.